Hi guys, this is Tori here with the prompt of the day. I haven't done a prompt in the day a little while, but that's okay. This is also going to be sort of a follow-up video to the Love to Write creative writing club that met today at the Peterborough Public Library. And for those of you that couldn't make it, and even for those of you that did, we did a prompt exercise, where you take an object and you look it over for about 30 seconds to a minute, get to know it, spend some time with it, and then we used 5 minutes and we wrote straight out. You can write for longer than that if you want. You can write as long as you want, really. If you're totally inspired and want to write an entire novel in an hour, then right ahead. But for this experience, we just used 5 minutes because that's all we had. So I'm going to take you through all the different objects that we had. Feel free to pause the video and rewind the video and choose a different object and take at least one of your objects. Do the exercise at least once. And if something gold comes out of it, then there it is. It's gold. So I'm going to go through them. The first object is this little quilt. Little handmade quilt somebody made for me. It's got a nice back on it as well. Just a little table runner thing. The second object was a little pouch, and in the pouch was this really nice little shell. This shell is actually from Guyana, something my friend brought back for me. Another object is this little doll, yarn doll. It was really cute. I made it a few years ago. Here's ginger chews. They're really good for if you have an upset stomach, so you can do with that what you will. There was a thimble, and a lady in our group did a really cool little section about the thimble, and a thimble full of bat crap. That was fun. There's another little pouch, and in the pouch there was a little amethyst. There was, I didn't even really mean to put this in the bag, but it's an elastic, and a gentleman in our group used elastic and wrote just one sentence, but it was actually really poignant and beautiful, so it was really interesting. Here is a bracelet full of buttons. A lady in our group used it to, made a beautiful description of the buttons and the history of buttons, and it was really interesting and a really cool way to describe history through buttons and through needlework and stuff like that. This is a little pocket watch based on an old style, even though it is new. Another guy in our group, my dad in fact, he wrote a really interesting, he meant it to be just sort of a list, but it ended up being sort of a almost poetic. It was poetic, and I told him at the end that it was definitely poetry. So that was cool. Here's a little spinning top. Really cute little spinning top. I wrote something about the spinning top. A pitch pipe. Nobody wrote about this in the group, but you could do whatever you wanted with that. It is a chromatic pitch pipe, if that makes a difference for you. This is a hair elastic, little butterfly hair elastic. Dad also wrote about that, with all the different shapes and stuff in it, and the feeling of it. A plastic spoon. It's kind of cool, you can kind of see me through the plastic spoon. And another gentleman wrote about that in our group. A little box, a little green jewelry box, ring box. A girl wrote about that in our group. The tape measure. A friend wrote about a tape measure in our group, about like the difference between inches and centimeters. It was hilarious. A kind of a creepy puppet. Another lady wrote about that in our group, about how she always hated dolls when she was a kid. And I think if this was my doll, I probably would have been a little bit freaked out by them too. Also, there's this llama, which I got in Ecuador a few years ago. And, actually, no, sorry, I got that in a powwow, which is kind of cool. And a friend wrote about that, her experience of a powwow, or no, her experience of a llama. And finally, yarn, and knitting needles, which is what I wrote about. So take those items, take them, and spend some time with them. Think about it 30 seconds, and then go over and write for 5 or 10 minutes. See how long you can go. Don't stop, don't edit, don't do anything like that. And I just wanted to realize that I hadn't actually shared any of my writing with you, and I did in fact do this exercise. So I just want to share a little bit, like a little thing of what I wrote about one of these objects. I chose the knitting needles and the yarn because it's what I'm doing this time of year, making all sorts of creations for my family, my friends. It's all very exciting. So here's what I wrote about the knitting needles. The needles clicked and clacked at a pitifully slow pace, far slower than necessary to finish this project by Christmas. Stop, I thought. Stop. Confidence. Be confident, be positive. I started the scarf back in September. It seemed like plenty of time, but then I got the new job, and then Mom got sick, and the scarf didn't seem very important anymore. But yesterday, we had a meeting with the doctor, and now the scarf seems like the most important thing. I need to finish it before... Stop, I say out loud before I can finish the thought. Keep knitting. Just keep knitting. Don't think about the next thing. Just keep knitting. So kind of an interesting little piece. Sometimes you don't know where things are going when they start, but they do. Something really interesting came out of that. You know, there wasn't a whole lot that was said, but you get a lot of information in a really small space, and that's sort of what's really interesting about prompts, because it creates something small that can very likely turn into something quite big and quite interesting, and something you may actually keep or get published. So keep it, and then you send it away and give it to somebody else, and then they keep it, and then they make it into something. So it's all just a wonderful thing. So that's your prompt of the day. Take it what you will, and let me know in the comments what you ended up writing about. I want to know if this sent you on a journey that you might stay on, or if it did absolutely nothing for you and you're going to go on to the next thing and never look at it again. But I hope you won't. I hope you'll keep coming back, because I like my prompts and I think they work pretty well. So I'll talk to you next time, and thank you everybody for coming out to the meeting today. It was a really busy time, and I hope to see everybody in the new year, and I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas. Talk to you later. Goodbye.